This video is going over the distributive property. So if you weren't here for the beginning of the lesson, then make sure you fill in, I can use the distributive property on the warm-up, and then get the vocab from a friend, or come to me and get the vocab. Okay, so I'm going to skip the combined like terms and warm-up, and I'm going to go to activity 1 for this video. Okay, so activity 1 is practicing the distributive property. So if you forget how to do it on your own, read the steps above, and then on this video is going to have us just practice applying it. So if we have a number on the outside of the parentheses for the distributive property, then we multiply that number by all the terms inside the parentheses. So what that means, I want you to draw an arrow from the 3 to the 4x, and then an arrow from the 3 to the 2. So all of the terms, or the terms are the ones separated by the plus and minus, need to be multiplied by the number outside of the parentheses. So how I might write this is 3 times 4x. So I'm multiplying it by that first term, and then I keep the same sign that's here, which is a plus, and then I'm going to multiply 3 times the second term, which is 2. And then I'm going to simplify. So I know 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times 4x would be 12x. And then I keep the same sign, which is addition, and then I multiply 3 times 2, which is 6. Then I look to see if I can combine these. This term is 12x, and the second term is just 6. There's no x with it, so I can't combine it. So this is the distributive property, using the distributive property to simplify the expression. Now, for this next one, the 2 is on the right side. I like to write the 2 on the left side, or the number on the left side, but it's all the same. So if the number's on the left or the right, it's all the same. So I'm going to draw an arrow from the 2 to the first term, which is a, and then the arrow to the second term, which is 4b. So I need to multiply the 2 by both of those parts. So I'm going to multiply 2 times a. It's going to be minus, and then I'm going to multiply 2 times the second term, which is 4b. So 2 times 4b. So 2 times a is 2a, minus 2 times 4 is 8, so 2 times 4b would be 8b. Then I look if I can combine the terms. I can't combine a's with b's. So it's if you think about it, like you can't combine apples and bananas. They're different. So this would be our simplified expression. Okay, next one, we're going to multiply 4a by both of the parts inside the parentheses. So we're going to multiply it by 3 and multiply it by 5b. And I want to see those arrows so you don't forget to do a part. So I'm going to write 4a times 3. And I'm going to add that 2, and I'm going to multiply 4a by the second term, 4a times 5b. So 4a times 3, so 4 times 3 is 12. So 4a times 3 is 12a. Then I keep the addition sign. 4 times 5 is 20, and 4a times 5 would be 20a, so 4a times 5b would be 20ab. So you just tag on the variables that are next to each other, a, b. So it means I'm multiplying 20 times a times b. I can't combine 12a with 20ab because ab is a different term than just a. So this is my simplified expression. And then this last one, I'm multiplying 5 times both of the parts. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 4a. And then I'm going to minus, because there's a subtraction sign, 5 times a. So 5 times 4 is 20, so 5 times 4a is 20a. I keep the subtraction sign, and 5 times a is 5a. Notice here, these are both the same term. So 20a, they're both a's, so you can subtract them. So I can think of it, I have 20 apples, and I'm subtracting 5 apples. So what I have left is 15 apples. So this is it, completely simplified, and you always check to see if you can simplify that. Okay, so now let's practice some more. So turn to the back of your paper to activity 2, and we're going to do some more practice with the distributive property. So you can try to do these 3 on your own, and then watch the video to check to see if you did it right. If you messed up, rewatch every single step. So we see 2, I'm multiplying 2 by all the parts, so I want to see those arrows. So I have 2 times 3a plus 2 times 4. So 2 times 3a is 6a plus 2 times 4 is 8. And I can't combine 6a plus 8. So that's my simplified expression. Next one, I'm multiplying 5 times both the parts. So 5 times 6a, so 5 times 6 is 30a, plus 5 times 3 is 15, so 5 times 3b would be 15b. And then one more, we're going to multiply 8 by all the parts inside the parentheses. So we're really doing 8 times 4a plus 8 times 3a. So 8 times 4 is 32, so 8 times 4a would be 32a. I keep the plus, and then 8 times 3a, 8 times 3 is 24, and 8 times 3a is 24a. And notice they're both apples, so we can combine these like terms. So 32 plus, so 32a plus 24a. So 2 plus 4 is 6, 3 plus 2 is 5. So 56a would be it simplified. Okay, these next ones are kind of tricky. So these ones we're working backwards. It says write an equivalent expression by doing the opposite of what you did above. So we're doing the opposite. So we're trying to make it so it's written like how these are up here. So now it's like it's giving us the simplified answer like what we have on these three, and we're working backwards. So we have to find something we could divide them both by. So I'm looking at 24 and 18. I try to see, okay, so I'm going to have a number on the outside of my parentheses, and then I'm going to have parentheses, and I know my sign is a plus, so there will be a plus sign in between, in the parentheses. So I have to think, what is something I could divide 24 and 18 by? And I know the biggest number I can divide them both by is 6. So 24 divided by 6 will give me 4, and 18 divided by 6 gives me 3. So I'm going to divide them both by 6, and I'm going to bring the 6 on the outside of my parentheses. So I'm going to think, okay, 6 times what gives me 24x? So I know 6 times 4 gives me 24. So 6 times 4x would give me 24x. So that would be my first term. My second term, I have to think, okay, I have to get 18y. So I know 6 times 3 is 18. So 6 times 3y would give me the term 18y. So this would be me working backwards. I try to see what I can pull out of both of the numbers. Okay, now this next one, we have 12 minus 4a. So I have to think, okay, what can I divide both 12 and 4 by? And I want to divide the biggest number I can. So I can divide them both by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I'm going to pull out a 4 on the outside of my parentheses, and then I'm going to put parentheses. I know there's a minus, so I'm going to put a minus inside. So I have to think of what are these two terms inside. So I know 4 times 3 would give me the first term of 12. And then I have to think, okay, 4 times 3 gives me 12, and then 4 times what is going to give me 4a. So 4 times 1 gives me 4, and 4 times 1a would give me 4a. And you could write it as 1a, or you could just write it as a, because I know 4 times a is 4a. So this is working backwards. Okay, and then one more practice. So I have the two terms 16x and 32y. So I'm going to pull out a number, and then I'm going to have parentheses, and then I'm going to put a subtraction sign inside the parentheses. And I have to figure out what the two terms are. So I see 16 and I see 32. So I know I could divide 16 by 16 and 32 by 16, and that would be the biggest number. 16 divided by 16 is 1, 32 divided by 16 is 2. So I'm going to pull out 16. So 16 is going to be on the outside of my parentheses. And I think 16 times what will give me 16x. And I know 16 times x gives me 16x, so my first term would be x. I have my subtraction sign. Then I have to think 16 times what gives me 32y. So I know 16 times 2 gives me 32, and 16 times 2y would give me 32y. So this would be my reversing of the distributive property. So once you have that, make sure you pause, rewind, rewatch what you need to so you know how to do it. You're practicing these two cool downs on your own. You're doing the distributive property, and then you are checking anything that you got wrong. Thank you for watching.